We finally hit a major milestone, 25,000 subscribers after being in China and making videos for almost 10 years, 400 or so videos, and just seeing so many things. 25,000 subscribers. Thank you all very much. I could not have done it without you, of course, because you are the basis for this channel. This community that's sprung up around my videos has been really, really cool. At times I felt discouraged, at times I felt really encouraged. And right now I'm feeling really encouraged. Thank you all again so much for just watching the videos and being a part of this journey. And I want to give back a little bit to the community by doing what else? A little Q&A. Let's talk about China. We have Martin Mandarin, a patron. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, Martin. Future plans, are you staying in China, traveling to more cities? Always traveling to more cities, always. I'm thinking in the next couple weeks, maybe going to Shangli, which is an ancient village. It's rather famous here in Sichuan, and I'm gonna take a friend, maybe two over there. Yeah, and I also like the idea of going to Kangding in West Sichuan, though those places are a little bit tougher to travel to at the moment, but those are definitely on my bucket list for Sichuan. As far as other cities around China, I do have some ideas, although I think those will be coming next year. You'll see. And let's take a minute and thank the patrons and the channel members for directly supporting the channel. I love your faces, and I want to specifically give a shout out to little Marco, who is a ruler of all channel member. He is the best guy. Thank you very much, little Marco, for supporting the channel. You rock. Although you didn't submit a question, just wanted to give you a little shout out. Going back to another patron question, we have Joshua, who's asking if I watch other China YouTubers for inspiration. And this is an interesting question because I used to watch a lot of China YouTubers for inspiration, but it got to the point where I feel like I was just directly making videos as responses to those people, and that felt really weird to me. I would rather just not watch anybody and come up with ideas on my own, come up with my own topics. I am aware of what people are posting about. I'm subscribed to just about everyone, but I don't necessarily watch a lot of China content. I do watch some, and if I do watch China content, it's from people who are living in really different places from me. Here's a good question from Yangchen. I see a couple of your early videos talking about culture, habitual differences, collectivism, individualism, etc., etc. Do I still stand by those observations and those opinions? This is actually a really good idea that I think I might make a couple of standalone videos about, like reaction videos, watching those old ones and see if I do stand by those opinions, because China is changing all the time, and I myself as a person am changing all the time. So who knows? I can't answer it right now without watching those videos. Justin, a channel member, is asking me about my worst student ever. Man, Justin, worst students come in a lot of flavors. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. They come in a lot of flavors. Worst students in terms of discipline, or me and that student not clicking personality-wise, lowest level or highest level. I once taught a kid who had severe, like debilitating autism, like really, really bad, when I was teaching in a training school. And the parents thought that, he was just a normal kid. They just thought he was a little bit different. They didn't know that he had autism, but man, it was so obvious. And it was really difficult to teach that kid. I did the best that I could. I taught him for about 6 months or so. I did what I could, and I felt like we did okay together, but it was a really big challenge. I had another kid at Sichuan University who had a really bad attitude because he was at a much higher level than other students in his class. But the thing is, he didn't want to help the other students. He didn't want to be a leader. All he wanted to do was show off the fact that he was so much better, and he was so bored by the class because he wasn't being challenged. And I tried to talk to him a few times and tried to work out a strategy, and it ultimately just came to the point where the guy just yelled at me for like 10 minutes in between classes. He spent the entire time ranting and raving and shouting at me in full view of the other students. We did reach a solution in front of the other students, which was kind of good, actually. He came to the realization that, oh, actually there are a ton of people watching me freak out and blah, blah, blah. And we reached a sort of like a cold peace, I guess you could say. It was never like amazing between us, but it became okay. Hey, yeah, so yeah, that was a couple of worst students. Question from another patron. about specialized teaching. This person is an engineer, a glider pilot, and they're wanting to know like how can they utilize those skills in China. Well, actually you can. Oh, he mentions programmer as well. So yeah, you can totally utilize those skills in China. You can go to sites like Glassdoor and type in programmer, search in China, and you'll come up with tons and tons of results. You will want to stick to bigger cities because that's where those jobs are going to be. Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shenzhen specifically. Chengdu's getting a few more of those types of jobs, but engineer, programmer, architect, I don't know about pilot. Don't know about that one, but yeah, it's a thing. From Steven, we have a question about what do you dislike about China? One about what do you miss about the USA? Money, babies, etc. Money and babies, that's for me to know. What do I dislike about China? What do I miss about the USA? I dislike popular culture in China, though I guess I dislike popular culture in the USA. So it's not really China's thing. Chinese music, we'll get into that in just a second. I really thoroughly dislike Chinese music. It's boring, it's shallow, superficial, it's not very good. There are exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, don't enjoy it. I am annoyed kind of by how obsessed Chinese people are with food, because the food's cool and everything, but people center their entire lives around food, and I don't understand why. There's so many more interesting things going on in China. The diversity of experiences and cultures and landscapes, and there's so much going on in China. Why are you focused on food? There's so many other things to be thinking about. But I mean, that's just me, I guess. That's just me. I also dislike how pervasive training schools are and how much pressure is put upon young children to perform and to stand out and to compete with other children. I do not like that. Children becoming study machines. I understand why that exists, but I don't like that. I've been getting a lot of questions about the borders, like when are the borders gonna open up for this country, this country, this country? I don't know. You're gonna have to talk to your local Chinese consulate or embassy. I don't have any information, no more than anyone else. Lena, maybe? Lena, if I say your name wrong, sorry. Is it possible to survive being vegan? Totally. I have a few vegan friends here in Chengdu, and they get by just fine. Although the thing about that is you're gonna have to do a lot of home cooking, bringing lunches, bringing dinners to other places, because you don't necessarily know what kinds of stuff they're using in the restaurants. The food may be good, but you don't know exactly what's being used. But like I said, vegans do exist here. They are a thing. There are vegan communities. Oh, hey, street cleaner there. Sam is asking about the challenges of being a China YouTuber. Well, let's get into it. The main challenge, I would say, besides the obvious thing like self-censorship on certain topics, I would say it's navigating all the personalities, because while the China vlogging community has blown up in the past 4 or 5 years especially, it's still a small community, and trying to stay on good terms with everyone and be diplomatic among these really divergent personalities is really hard, because that's where I'd prefer to be. I would prefer to be the go-between for a lot of people than like side with one narrative or side with another narrative, at least while living in China. I've got a lot invested in my life here, and I've invested a lot of time into these videos, and I have a life here, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that, And also trying to just feel like I'm still relevant, because there are all these people that have sprung up in the last few years who have just blown up for one reason or another. Meanwhile, I've just kind of been relegated to, the bottom of the pack, even though I've been here longer and made more videos than just about everyone else. That kind of hurts, but it's honest, It sucks feeling like a second-class citizen, but it is what it is. And from James, one of the most interesting questions: out of the 7 fine arts, he goes on to list them, which of these don't you hate? I don't know why you phrased it in that way, but okay, we'll talk about it. I don't enjoy Chinese music. That's true. I don't hate Chinese cinema. I watched an older Chinese movie the other day that I really liked. It was called Tianxia Wuzai or something like that. Good movie, good movie. And I've seen quite a few Chinese movies, and the classic Chinese movies are really good, actually. Zhang Yimou is an artist. I love his work. For example, like he's my favorite Chinese director by far. And sculptures, yeah, sculptures are great. Dance, have you ever seen like minority dancing, like Uyghur minority dancing, for example? It's amazing, it's amazing. Or yeah, architecture can get a little bit funny here, but don't hate it. Literature is fantastic. I've read a few poems and like short stories and excerpts from modern storytellers. Yeah, it's fine. Song Dynasty painting, Tang Dynasty painting is wonderful. Tang Dynasty poetry is good, though very hard to understand. I don't know what gave the impression that I hated all these things, but I don't. Question about medical insurance. I didn't expect to get that one. I do have medical insurance here. Employers will purchase medical insurance for you. It's something that they're required by law to do. So I have accident insurance. Like if I get in a car wreck or fall off my e-bike or something and go to a public hospital, they'll reimburse me for that, sure. But I also have I have a life insurance policy and a for like quote unquote big diseases like cancer and things like that. I get that through PICC. It's pretty cheap. It's about $1,200 a year or something like that. And my other one is $1,000 a year or something like that. So it's not expensive. And I have the employer purchased insurance. So yeah, got insurance. I would say if you're gonna get insurance in here, you need to have great Chinese, or you need to have a local person help you read the policies and figure everything out. How is the water level? Any worry about the Three Gorges Dam? No worries about that. The rainy season's over, I believe. Rainy season pretty much finishes in August. So it's kind of the middle of September right now. Rainy season's over. Everything's normal here. Hasn't rained in a few days here. Water levels, like the river looks normal. And Three Gorges Dam, nope, not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. Last but certainly not least question, I feel like this has to be addressed. How did you adjust to eat food like pig ears, intestines? They're delicious for Chinese. Most foreigners think that they're gross. How did you adjust to it? Okay, several things to unpack here. When you say foreigners, you mean American, most likely. If you think about what does foreigners mean, could mean Vietnamese people, Thai people, Korean people, Japanese people, Nigerians. It could mean Peruvians. It could mean Canadians. It could mean Moldovans. These people are so all over the place. You can't generalize like that. Because in most of the world, people do eat things like intestines. They do eat internal organs. That's a normal part of the diet. It's just that Americans are a little bit different. They're way pickier and yeah, it's what they're just, that's how they are. And I also run across this idea of adjusting to China. You don't necessarily have to change every opinion that you have to fit into China. Some people just have different preferences. When I started eating internal organs and things like that, I liked them. And things like intestines, I don't necessarily like. You either like something or you don't, you know? You can try it once, try it twice, and then that's, you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. That's it. Yeah, pig ears, fantastic. Liver, fantastic. Lungs, fantastic. Like, these are all really nice foods. You just have to find the right dish. You have to find the right one for you, because everyone likes certain things. As for me personally, I am that kind of person who seeks adventure. I do like to try new things, to go to new places, learn new languages, and see new things. That's just who I am. And I think a lot of people who move to China are that way as well. Not everyone, of course, but if you're gonna move from Europe to Asia, if you're gonna move from the USA to Asia, that's a really big, like, cultural clash, at least in the beginning. So the people who are gonna make that transition are the sort of people like me who wanna try something new. And I think that's something that's really beautiful about the expat community here in China. I think the expat community gets a bad rap because of some bad actors. The majority of the expat community I've found to be really great people, people who are looking for adventure and new experiences just like me. And they're from all over the world. It's wonderful. And I recommend to everyone who's sort of adventurous and curious like me, come over here and give this place a shot, because China is awesome. It's a fun place to be, and it's a place where you can learn a lot and grow a lot as a person. So yeah, I guess I would just end the video with saying, don't always believe the stereotypes. Don't always believe the hype. You need to go somewhere and check it out for yourself. And just because something is different doesn't mean that it's bad. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please check out the Patreon and check out channel memberships. I'll see you all next time.